Alright guys, it's Alex from TECHAERIS, and I am back with another unboxing video. This time it's the X300 Pro and the X300 from Vivo. These are officially launching globally, and we have them both in-house to unbox and take a look at. Let's get into it. Alright guys, let's get into the unboxing. We're going to start with the X300, the vivo X300. First, this is actually the Chinese variant. The box is pretty similar to what came out last year. Not much to it, it's just a black box. It does have a sticker on the back that shows some information, but nothing that's of consequence. So we'll just pop that open, and we have the X300 here. Pop that out, leave that to the side. You get a SIM ejection tool here, and in this little box, I'm guessing there's a case in there because they usually give you a case. And yes, indeed, there is your TPU case, and it's like a purple color. I believe this phone is purple in color. And there is your documentation, which I don't think anybody is going to read. And in this box here, we do get your USB-A to USB-C cable. And on the other side is probably the charging brick. We'll see what they gave me here. Usually they give me a European brick. Let's see what happens here. This is not a European brick. And there's the information on the brick. You can take a look for yourself. That is a fast charge brick. It's a pretty decent sized brick, and it's still good to see that Vivo is including that in the box. A lot of companies are not including charging bricks. So we'll put that to the side. Here's the phone. And here is your camera. That is the familiar round circular pancake dinner plate camera that we got on the last year's vivo 200 Pro, which incidentally, we are recording this video with the vivo X200 Pro. I would show that side by side, but since I'm using it, we are not going to do that. Let's open this up, see what we get. Yes, indeed, you do get this kind of pastel purple color for the vivo X300. This is the 300, not the 300 Pro, just to go on and make sure everybody knows this. You do get Vivo branding here. It is very subtle in regular light. Right here, I can barely see it. You can probably see it better on the camera. And here on the side is your volume rocker and power button, and some antenna lines. And down here is your USB-C port and your SIM tray and a speaker. And on this side, we do get more antenna lines and not much more there. And on top, the other speaker and a microphone. And there is your display. And this is indeed the Chinese variant. This is the one made for China. So that's why we get the welcome screen in Chinese. But what we're going to do is we're going to grab the 300 Pro and we're going to unbox that, and then we'll look at them side by side. Let's move this to the side real quick. Here's your X300 Pro, same sort of box, just that black box, same box that the 200 Pro came in last year. And there's your phone on top. Put that to the side. That, again, you do get a SIM ejection tool. And in here, probably another case. And you do get a case. And it's just a TPU case, but it does a fairly good job of protecting the phone. You know, it's not perfect. It's not a OtterBox or anything, but it does the job. And that looks like it's a sand color, beige color, and that's like probably what the phone is as well. And in this box, of course, we are getting our USB-A to USB-C cable for your charging brick. And on the other side, I believe this is the global version, so you are going to get the charging brick for Europe. This is not the brick for the US, so it is a fast charging brick, but it won't work here in the US. Not a big deal. You can always get plenty of those bricks wherever you can find a Best Buy. And here's your phone. Again, very large camera bump. The pancake dinner plate camera module with triple camera setup and flash. Let's just crack this guy open and see. It's going to be very similar to the 300 obviously larger screen, better spec, and there is one small difference in the buttons here. And here is your back, and it is indeed like a sand beige color, brown color, and that camera bump is pretty big, as you can see. And of course, this is Zeiss branded. The one on the 300 is also Zeiss branded. So we are working with Zeiss through all these camera systems. And here we get power button and your, power button and your volume rocker. And then you get your antenna bands all across there. And on the bottom, we do get the same speaker, USB-C port, and SIM card tray. And on this side, you get what is probably the best way to describe it is an action button, kind of like the iPhone has. So you'll be able to program that to do various functions, like, you can get your camera, you can get your torch, you can get your silencer, you can silence your calls, put it on vibration. There's a number of different things you can do with that button, and it's all programmable within the UI. And there is another speaker on top and more antenna bands. So let's take a look at these two side by side real quick. There is your side by side in kind of comparison of size. I believe this is a 6.78 inch screen. I don't know what this one is. I think it's a 6.5, but don't quote me on that. We will look at the specs in a little bit. But they are definitely a big size difference here. As far as design goes, this is more of it looks more like the iPhone now, more like the Oppo Find X9 that just came out. They're more rounded, so the design is definitely different. The screen is flat now, as opposed to the one on the X200 Pro, which did have the kind of the curved screen to it. This is just completely flat now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up these phones, and then we are going to do some B-roll, and I'll shoot side by side both of these phones, and we'll talk about the specs and features of each one coming up. All right, guys, let's get into the specs and features of the vivo X300 series. We'll start with the vivo X300, with the operating system being the Origin OS 6 operating system based on Android 16, with the MediaTek Dimensity 9500 processor. You have a couple storage options available with a couple of RAM options available. You can either get the 12 gig 256 or the 16 gig 512. So that's 12 on RAM and 256 on storage, or 16 and 512. You do get 90 watt flash charge, and you get 40 watt wireless flash charge. And there is a 6040 milliamp hour Blue Volt battery in this thing. That's a huge battery for such a small device. Pretty impressive. Origin OS 6 is new to the global market. That was something that was in a Chinese market. It switches over from FunTouch. That's what I'm familiar with, is FunTouch. So Origin OS 6 should be fun to use and interesting to get to know. But that comes with Origin Design, Flip Cards, Origin Smooth Engine, Origin Island, and Vivo Office Kit. The dimensions of this guy are 150.57 by 71.92 by 7.95 millimeters, and it comes in a weight of 190 grams. You can get black, blue, purple, pink, or red for colors. You do get an ultrasonic in-display fingerprint, and you do get IP68 and IP69 ingress protection. You do get 2.4 and 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi, Bluetooth 5.4, and the USB-C port is USB 3.2 Gen 1, USB-OTG, and NFC is supported. For the cameras, you get a 200 megapixel Zeiss main camera, which says it's a 200 megapixel ultra-sensing sensor, HPB, and the f-stop is 1.68. The Zeiss APO telephoto camera is 50 megapixels, and that is an LY2 602 sensor with an f-stop of 2.57. The Zeiss ultra wide angle camera is also 50 megapixel,
and that is a f2.0 for the f-stop. And the front-facing camera is a 50 megapixel Zeiss wide-angle front camera with an f-stop of f2.0. Some of the features of these cameras are obviously 200 megapixel ultra clear portrait, 4K stage all-in-one recording, dual view stage video, 4K 120 frames per second pro video, Zeiss natural portrait, AI landscape master, multifocal portrait snapshot. The display on here is an 8T LTPO with 120 Hz refresh rate. It comes in at 6.31 inches and the resolution is 1216 by 2640. It is certified for SGS low blue light, HDR10+, Netflix HDR, and TUV Renlund flicker-free certification. And the speaker system is a dual stereo speaker system. Now, moving on to the vivo X300 Pro. Here, a lot of this is going to be the same. A lot of it's going to be different, actually. So we are running Origin OS 6, again, based on Android 16. I won't go over that again, but you do get the same MediaTek Dimensity 9500. You get one option for storage and RAM, which is a 16 gigs of RAM and 512 of storage. You do get 90 watt flash charge and 40 watt wireless flash charge. This comes with a 6,510 milliamp hour Blue Volt battery, which is a little bit larger, about 500 milliamps larger than the vivo X300. And of course, Origin OS 6. The dimensions on the vivo X300 Pro are 161.98 by 75.48 by 7.99 millimeters. Comes in at 226 grams, and you can get this in black, brown, blue, or white. We have the brown version. Ingress protection is the same at IP68 and IP69, and Wi-Fi is the same, 2.4. Actually, no, Wi-Fi you get 2.4 gigahertz, 5 gig and 6 gig, and you do get Bluetooth 6.0 on the X300 Pro. So we got an upgrade there from the vivo X300. Same USB 3.2 gen, USB OTG, NFC supported, and here's where the big differences are with the cameras. The rear camera is a 200 megapixel Zeiss APO telephoto camera at f2.67 with ultra sensing sensor HPB. You also get a Zeiss gimbal grade main camera, 50 megapixels with f1.57, and the third camera is a Zeiss ultra wide angle camera, 50 megapixels at f2.0, and the front facing camera is a 50 megapixel Zeiss wide angle front camera with f2.0. The features are also a little different here on the vivo X300 Pro. You get 4K stage all-in-one recording, dual view stage video, telephoto flower and bird shots, 20 times long-range motion snapshot, 4K 120 frames per second, Dolby Vision video, 4K 120 frames per second, 10-bit log video, Zeiss Miritar telephoto style bokeh, and Landscape Master. AI Landscape Master. For the screen, you get an 8T LTPO, same as the vivo X300 at 120 Hz refresh rate, 6.78 inches on the size, and the resolution is slightly better at 1260 by 2800. Same certifications and same audio system with a dual stereo speaker. That is about it, guys, for the vivo X300 and the X300 Pro. We are going to have a full review for these at some point in the future. I also have the OnePlus 15, and I also have the iPhone 17 Pro Max and the S25 Ultra. I'm thinking I might do a video at some point going over comparing some cameras and stuff like that later on in the coming weeks, and we'll see how that goes. But that is it for now. Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure you are subscribed, you hit the like button, hit the notification bell, share with your friends, do all the things that the algorithm helps us, it helps the algorithm to notice us, it helps us to grow. We've crossed 3,000 subscribers, appreciate that highly. So let's shoot for 4,000 next, and let's try to get that done before the middle of next year. I would love for that to happen. But the most important thing is to make sure that you take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and we will talk to you on the other side.